Okay, hi EC. Britt here is back again, and here it is at 4 a.m. my time, and Ace has demanded after doing his recordings that that I make a quick answer video explaining how I got into RPing, since no one, I believe, asked me that in my set of questions for my holiday video. So this is and because I'm bored and I don't sleep, I am going to um, comply with his request. And uh, how I got into RP, it's kind of a weird and long and windy road kind of deal. Um, I started writing. I started writing poetry when I was a freshman in high school, so like ninth grade. So I was like 13, 14 years old, and uh, I was writing. Uh, I was writing poetry, and they were rather long poems that were more like they were kind of like they're not necessarily. I don't want to say song big, but kind of like well, like, well, not song fic, but well, they were more like short stories or like novellas, sort of. And if you're wondering what that noise is, that's probably Ace messaging me on MSN. um, um, but yeah, so I started writing those in ninth grade, and then I embarrassing. Okay, so I at the time I was a huge fan of the R&B group Pretty Ricky. If you don't know who that is, don't worry about it. They were a very overly sexual group of people, and probably scarred me for life now. So I went on one of their message boards, and I started reading some of the stories on there, and and it got me thinking. It's like I really like these, and I want to try and do this too. So I started writing really crappy, uh, Pretty Ricky fanfics, fan fiction, and uh, but I would write it in I would write it in like dialogue form, or like dialogue slash script form. But it was really crappy and totally plots that would just never happen. It was ridiculous. That's how bad they were. But I still have the first story I ever made. If I had known that Ace was gonna have to do this, I would have like broke out the notebook and everything that it's still in. But maybe I'll take a picture of it one day. But so yeah, I started doing that, and then I kind of, I kind of stopped. I think I want to say they closed down I want to say they closed down the site, or they closed down the message board part of the site. I think is what happened. And so after that, I didn't have anywhere to write, so I just kind of um, so at the time it was floppy disk. I know, right? I would just write random stuff on a really crappy and slow desktop, and I would save to a floppy disk, and I would carry this thing around with me. Well, this is when I first got a computer at home. We had a really crappy desktop, and and yeah, like I said, we used a floppy disk, and I carried it around with me everywhere because I didn't want any chance of my mother like finding it and like reading whatever it is that I had on there. It was ridiculous. So yeah, and then and then so I did that for a couple years. So then I want to say I found a couple years, maybe like 2 or 3 or so. So I was like maybe like a junior in high school. Was yeah, about junior in high school, and I found a Trey Songs website, and I went on their message board. Oddly enough, I didn't. I went on there and I started writing, and um, I didn't write fan fiction of him. I just kind of whatever kind of came to mind at the time. They had like a free kind of, so I did that for a little bit, and then I got bored with that site, and then I moved over to a Chris Brown message board, and I started writing fan fiction over there, and I wrote some of the raunchiest and just plain wrong fan fictions over there. I would just, oh my god, I even had like a little uh, shop of of sex scenes. I would take requests and people would ask me what I would do is that they would give me a scenario, and you know, they would give me a scenario and um, like a basic one of like what they want to go down. Like I wanted to be at a club or in a tree or stuff like that, and I would write it and whatnot. But believe it or not, it helped my writing along the way, and so I decided that I would start writing full-fledged stories on it. So I did that, and I wrote a bunch, and I still have them on my laptop. Not that I'm going to show them to anybody because they are just they are just horrible, and yeah, they're just horrible. And anyways, so I started doing that, and then I want to say I was on Facebook one day. I was on Facebook, and one of my friends knew that I liked to write. And so she told another friend of mine that um, uh, I like to write. And hold on, I'm sorry, I'm messaging Ace. And uh, well, he signed up anyway. He'll see it when he gets online tomorrow. But yeah, uh, she found out that it took me to she well, wow, I just totally got sidetracked. Right. So yeah, a friend of mine told another friend of mine that I like to write, and so she sent me this link to a RP site. I want to say it was called Cambridge Crest. I want to say that's what it was. It's Cambridge Crest. I believe that's what it was, and it was a reform school based RP site. And I went on there like the first time I went on there and I glanced at it. I was like, "What is this? I don't know what this is." And she kept pestering about it. She was like, "You really should join this site. You really should do this. I think this would be awesome for you." And I was like, "Okay, fine." So I finally went on the site and I signed up. I joined and I slowly started learning. I kind of got the gist of it, and before I actually really start like posting and stuff like that, I I went through all of the topics or whatever on the board or whatever to try to figure out how everything worked or whatever. I was like, okay, I think I can do this. It's like, okay, bigger characters. Like, okay, cool. And so I kind of started that, but I was only there on that site maybe a couple weeks before they closed it. They um, moved over to another site called oh my God, Omi's gonna kill me for this because this is the site she was on. I can't remember the name. Um, I want to say Ambient Symphony. Is it Ambient Symphony? I can't remember, and Omi's gonna hate me so much for not remembering this site. But I met Omi through that site. But yeah, I started writing on there, and it kind of gave me. It was kind of like my stepping stones for RP sites, and so, and I really got into it. And I was like, I kind of like this. I really like this. This is cool. I can do this. And so I started join. I joined a bunch of other sites, different types or whatever sites, and I joined a bunch of. I joined a lot of. I joined a lot. I joined a Harry Potter based one. I joined an Alice in Wonderland one. I even joined a Nightmare Before Christmas one. Um, None of them were open very long, but they were awesome in their own way. I mean, well, most of them were. They were awesome in their own way, but a lot of them were like based around like the admins, whatever, and their characters, and that was just yeah. That was just that yeah. And then I finally was searching through. I found Caution 2.0, and I finally found that, and then I kind of rolled around, and I finally got to here. So, and wow, I can't believe. See, this is why I shouldn't have done this video at 4 a.m. because I just went on a rambling rant about about my RP history when you asked. And all I had to do was tell you how I really got into it. Wow, Fred. Wow. Anyways, so yeah, then I finally found EC and it felt like home. Yeah, and I came here and I fell in love with like everybody. And so it was awesome. So yes, that is how I got into RPing, as embarrassing as some parts are. That's how I got into RPing. So there you go, Ace. Never say I never don't ever say I didn't do anything for you or that I don't love you. So yeah. Bye.